Some of you might have heard of Trapboy Freddy during the time of the Mo 3 situation, right? When Mo 3 lost his life, Trapboy Freddy's name was out there a lot, right? Because there were a lot of eyes on Dallas. But in his own right, Trapboy Freddy is a rapper, man, and a fairly successful rapper. I think he dropped a project, what was that, last year? And he had relative success, you know what I'm saying? He's still kind of localized, man. He's on a local level when it comes to hip hop, right? But one thing that's been breaking headlines is the fact that Trapboy Freddy he had to plead guilty to these charges, man. And one of them is a federal gun charge.
Bruh. Yeah,
man. It ain't looking good for Trapboy Freddy. It's looking like Trapboy Freddy might be up out of here, dog. Like, for a while. And a lot of people would be saying that's karma because, you know, some people think certain things. I'm not going to put it in the atmosphere, but y'all know what I'm getting at, right? Now, what I want to do is play this news story about Trapboy Freddy. So let's check this out.
So today was supposed to be day one of the trial of Dallas rapper Trapboy Freddy on weapons charges, but a big development means that trial will not be happening.
Now, it looks like when you hear a big development, usually you think something negative. You're like, oh, man, what didn't happen? You know what I'm saying? But let's continue.
Chris Sadeghi has the new developments.
A trial that was to begin this morning was avoided when Devarius Moore, better known by his rapper name Trapboy Freddy, entered a guilty plea on Friday. The charge was to unlawful possession of a firearm. But this is the case that caught a lot of attention because of what else federal officers found inside his Oak Cliff home. Back in August, while executing the search warrant, they found a tiger cub at the house.
Now, we've all probably at this time seen the Tiger King, right? Now, having a tiger cub seems like a pretty cool thing to do, right? But based on even that show and based on a lot of the things out there like National Geographic, those things start to grow big relatively quick. Like in a year or so, you're talking about a whole different type of animal. You know what I'm saying? It goes from being a cute, cuddly cub to what it's born to be, man, a weapon of destruction. You know what I'm saying? Man, how do I put this in the correct tense? A born killing machine is what it is. And there's nothing about a tiger I would want around me, but that's just me. Man, let's go.
His arrest was followed by an arrest just months earlier in Kaufman County for unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon. His criminal record already includes previous time spent in prison, and this case created a lot of buzz on social media because of his rap career and the tiger cub. It is also illegal to have a tiger as a pet in the city of Dallas. Now
in the city of Dallas, it's illegal to have a tiger, right? But aren't there more tigers in Texas than there are in the wild or something like that? Maybe it's just a city thing, but I don't think it's a state thing. So I know there's a lot of tigers in Texas, right?
According to the paperwork that was filed in court, the judge will consider the sentencing guidelines for Moore, and the charge carries a maximum of 10 years in prison, but also the possibility of supervised release. I'm Chris Sadeghi. Now back to you.
So if you guys were listening carefully there's several different variables there. There are 3 different variables. It looks like he could face up to 10 years. He could actually do less time, or he can go home on home monitoring. Now, obviously, going home on home monitoring is the best situation for Trapboy Freddy in this case, right? So let's actually look at the news story that covers such, right? So, all right. So here's a news story right here. This is from a local Houston newspaper, a news, organization or whatnot. And it says, Dallas rapper pleads guilty to federal gun charges. Trapboy Freddy made headlines last summer when a tiger cub was found at his home by U.S. Marshals who went there to arrest him. Now, the Dallas rapper known as Trapboy Freddy, whose case gained attention when authorities found a tiger cub at his home last summer, has pleaded guilty in federal court to a weapons charge, according to court documents. Devarius Dantes Moore pleaded guilty to 1 count of possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, convicted felon. A plea agreement filed in the U.S. District Court in Dallas said. So basically, Trapboy Freddy, he filed a plea agreement through his attorneys, and they're going to figure out, a judge is probably going to have to figure out what his sentence will be. Now, the case was not related to the tiger cub, which was discovered when authorities issued a warrant for Moore's arrest on the gun charge. Moore faces up to 10 years in federal prison on the gun charge and a fine of up to $250,000. Now, according to the plea agreement, Trapboy Freddy will forfeit a Taurus 38 caliber gun and any ammunition and magazines seized with the gun. Now, prosecutors in turn agreed not to bring any charges in the case. The agreement provided no guarantees or promises for anyone as to what sentence a judge will decide. Now, a sentencing date for Moore has not been set. So basically, Trapboy Freddy is going to be sentenced by a single judge in this case, right? And they haven't made him any guarantees or promises by him bringing in this plea agreement. But let's be real. He wouldn't have signed this plea agreement unless there were some sort of guarantees or promises being made on the back end on how much time he was going to get. You know what I mean? Most people wouldn't plead guilty if they had a better chance of fighting it in court. And as we've seen in a lot of these situations, the plea agreement is most times the best choice. So we'll see if the judge grants him any type of leniency, right? But they held it to this only that single charge. So now Trapboy Freddy will say, an Oak Cliff resident found his way into the news last summer when U.S. Marshals went to serve an arrest warrant at his home and found a caged tiger cub. Moore was taken into custody on the weapons charge, but wasn't his first high-profile run-in with the law. After serving multiple prison stints through his younger years, Moore was arrested by 2 DPD officers in 2018 on charges of evading arrest with a previous conviction relating to an outstanding warrant in his name in Cedar Hills and DeSoto. Now, those are 2 areas around Dallas. So they're in the Dallas area as well. So it looks like they're going back to his 2018 case. And man, after that, a lot went active in the streets. Let's be real, man. There's a lot of back and forth in hip hop between him and the late, great Mo 3. And a lot of things. I mean, that's pretty much where a lot of people started to know more about Trapboy Freddy, right? Now, it continues by saying he then publicly accused DPD of using excessive force during the arrest, which prompted an internal DPD review of the incident. In March of this year, Moore was then arrested following a traffic stop in Kaufman on charges of unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon and possession of more than 2 ounces of the green. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's crazy is every time Trapboy Freddy gets arrested or Yellow Beezy gets arrested, everybody attributes it to something that might have to do with Mo 3. You know what I mean? Every time. And this just goes to show that most of these things are not connected. The fact that he was moving around or allegedly moving around with a gun is stupid. Like, let's keep it real, man. But it seems like regardless of what's being said or what's been done in this case, there's still more to answer for there's still more to report as far as to what his sentence is going to be, because it really depends on how the judge is going to be feeling that day, right? Because if the judge is like, okay, we gave you a chance here or whatnot, Trapboy, you already have a long history getting in trouble with the law, I'm going to throw the book at you. It is what it is. But seeming that there are already 3 variables about what could happen, including one being home detention, I wouldn't, if I was Trapboy Freddy's peeps, I'd be holding out for that, because that seems like it's a possibility as well. Or at-home detainment, or whatever they called it, right? Where he just has at-home monitoring. That's what he said, yep. Where he just basically has a monitor on him for some period of time. I'm wondering what it would be. But we'll see. It'll probably be a combination of all of those things, depending on who the judge is in the case. But more to come from this in the future, man.